Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Howard. I am the town manager here in the town of Randolph. We have done a series of these COVID-19 updates. We did do a general notification to the town today. Not everybody necessarily is on the town's Facebook page. Not everybody is necessarily following the town's website. So we did want to expand upon that today. I will also, at the end, let folks know how they can sign up for those services so that you have the ability to know when we're doing these updates in the future. I am joined by a series of department heads here, part of our emergency management team. Our superintendent of schools, T.S. Tavel, is in a meeting that she may join us at the end. If not, I do have some words on behalf of the superintendent. At this time, I do want to start first with our Commissioner of Public Health, Jerry Cody. Probably the biggest news we have right now is that Governor Baker has extended the stay-at-home advisory until May 4th. This does also impact the library, the community center, and the Randolph Public Schools. In addition to that, the order to limit all gatherings to 10 or less is also continuing until May 4th. Jerry, at this time, if you could provide an update to the residents in regards to public health.
Yes, Mr. Howard. So today, April 1st, we have 50 confirmed cases in the town of Randolph. The Randolph Public Health Department is actively engaged with communicating with these residents to make sure that they are doing well and that they're not going out into the community. They are in home isolation and they're not allowed out until they are no longer symptomatic. So the residents understand that, and we're providing support to them as much as they would need. Most of them are fairly independent with no needs at the moment, but we're standing by to help in case they do have any needs. We want to prevent them from going out into the community. So in addition to that, we have 5 residents that have recovered since earlier this month. So we've been tracking the confirmed cases, and as symptoms, as they recover, they're able to come out of isolation. So they're still able to, they feel well, they're no longer infectious, and they've been checked out by both the Board of Health and the Mass Department of Public Health.
And Jerry, what I would like to do, yesterday, our numbers decreased because we didn't have anybody added to the log. In addition, we had some individuals who came off the log. But it's clear both at the federal and state level that we haven't reached the peak yet. So while yesterday was a good day, and we hope to have more days like that, there's no question that as testing has increased, that the peak is expected to be, they're thinking, around April 17th.
That's correct. Yeah, the peak is still hasn't arrived here in Massachusetts, and that's why it's so important that we follow the social distancing rules. As much as you can, stay out of the public. You can still certainly go out to get your groceries at one of our stores. You can get takeout food at any of our restaurants. There's no dining in the restaurants. You should also try to order ahead and maybe have the food delivered. That'd be another way to avoid getting out into the public. Any other events that we might have coming up? If there's any yard waste collection, if you could consider using our April 18th curbside, that would be another way to avoid going out into the public. We are planning to open on this Saturday for the yard waste drop-off, but there'll be strict social distancing for that program. You'll be staying in your vehicle and driving up one by one to unload your vehicle. So anything else related to the restaurants, the strong recommendations, like I said, to call ahead, have food delivered, avoid going out to the public as much as you can. The disease transmission, it really takes place from aerosolized droplets from the secretions of a cough or a sneeze. And that's why hand washing is so important. We don't want to touch a surface that may have a droplet that landed on it. And we're also really enforcing the social distancing. As you can see the sign here in front of me, we have that at various parks in town and recreation facilities. We really want people to enforce and keep that 6-foot distance from each other to avoid that aerosolization, the way that a cough or a sneeze would allow the virus to travel. So that's what the social distancing is for, to avoid you from coming in contact with that virus.
Now, Jerry, you mentioned grocery stores, pharmacies, a couple of things. I know that some pharmacies are asking individuals if you're able to do a 90-day supply versus a 30-day supply. That does cut down on the number of times that you need to go to the grocery or to the pharmacy. In addition to that, reusable checkout bags are currently not allowed. So if you do, like many people, Randolph next year will have a ban on plastic bags. However, in the meantime, there are some folks who prefer to help the environment with the reusable bags, but we're told right now that those are off the table, don't use them.
Exactly. That's a best practice to avoid another way to contaminate any of the food that you're bringing home, or you don't want to bring anything into a store that could be unclean.
And in addition to that, every store is required to have special hours for people who are over the age of 60 or have mobility issues. So make sure that you do reach out to whatever store that you shop at to find out what those hours are. In addition to that, and I can tell you that this is not a Randolph-specific issue, but gloves and masks, a lot of people have their own, and they are going into stores, and then they're dropping them literally on the ground by their car. It is, needless to say, not appropriate. It certainly wasn't how I was raised, but separate of that, it is just unacceptable. Please don't do it. If a police officer is driving by and sees it, you will be fined. This is unacceptable. And we want people to please use common sense, common decency. Gloves and masks must be thrown out. All the stores do have receptacles outside, and a number of them I know have receptacles, trash receptacles actually inside where you would return your cart. So folks, please work with us. Do not find yourself in a situation where you could get fined, but also it's just more work for the supermarkets, and they're already doing difficult work under difficult situations. In addition to that, two other things that we want to highlight, Jerry, is the state did create an online resource for residents who would want to have their health checked. It is boy.com/mass. That's BUOY.com/mass. You have an opportunity to go on that and find out whether or not you may or may not need certain levels of medical care in regards to COVID-19. I think the thing that we hear sometimes here at the town hall is people want to know, okay, well, when is Randolph opening up a testing site? When is Randolph putting up medical tents? And that is done, well, two things. A, the decision on where any medical facility is going to be operated for treatment during this is being done through MEMA and FEMA, and they would locate locations that would work. They would reach out to us, and we would work with them in that regard if it was deemed that we were a good location for that. Separate of that, if you want to get tested because you feel that you meet the standards of needing a test, those would not be done at the Board of Health. Those would not be done at a town level. You would reach out to your primary care physician. You would reach out to an emergency room, call them. They do not want you just walking in. But this is something that I think there's some confusion on. These tests at no point will be done during this pandemic at a local level. It is only done through those two options, correct?
That's correct, Brian. So the best thing to do if you feel as though you have any of the symptoms, you have a cough, you have a congestion way high up into your chest, and you have a fever, call your doctor. You want to get their opinion. They'll tell you what to do next. They'll tell you how you can get tested if they feel as though you're an eligible candidate for that. You may even be diagnosed by your doctor as somebody who should stay home, and you may not need to get tested based on your symptoms. If your symptoms do get worse and you feel as though you're not recovering, obviously we want you to seek medical help. If you do call 911, you would make sure the dispatch person that you're speaking to knows that you are concerned about COVID-19. We want to protect our first responders from any potential exposure.
Another thing, when we were talking about physical distancing, and I had a resident reach out and say that they prefer the term physical distancing versus social distancing because people should still want to be social. I actually thought that was a real positive way of looking at that. So I'm trying to use the term physical distancing where I can. That said, Powers Farm is open. Blue Hills trails through Randolph are open. The Randolph High School track is open. It is open for walking. It is open for running. It is open for hiking. It is not open for soccer games, football games, pickup games of any type. The basketball courts throughout today and tomorrow, we are adding a cover, if you will, to cover the basketball hoops. Folks, this is not vacation. It is difficult. I understand you being, especially when you're a teenager and you're expected to stay inside the house, not easy. However, this is not time for organized games, sports, or other practices or activities. So we need your help as we get over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So the basketball courts in town and the ball fields are not to be used for organized activity. Very, very important. One last thing, Jerry, the Medical Reserve Corps, we have used them during this time frame. Can you talk a little bit about the Medical Reserve Corps? We have folks who've reached out and wanted to volunteer and assist the town. One of the ways to do that is the Medical Reserve Corps.
Yeah, so the Medical Reserve Corps, they're a group of volunteers that have a medical background, and some don't. So for each medical person that we have in our core group, we would need to have at least 3 non-medical people to support them. And they're going to come in real handy when we have our fall flu clinics for our normal flu vaccine. A lot of our staff that we use to work at our flu clinics come from the Medical Reserve Corps. So if you have any interest in signing up, this is the time, and we'll work with you closely on that. You always can contact the Randolph Public Health Department, and we'll get you in contact with our local Medical Reserve Corps.
And we do have the number up on the screen right now, 781-630-2201, or you can email them at the address that you see. If you provide them your name and your phone number, they will reach out to you. We've used them a number of times at different points for different things. They've always come in, whether it's a snowstorm, flood, issues with the water treatment plant earlier in the year. They have been excellent. So if you are interested in volunteering in that capacity, that is a wonderful way to assist your neighbors, assist your community. At this time, I would like to reach out to the public safety side of the town. Our police chief and our fire chief are here. There's not been too many changes in how the operations are running in regards to the updates that we've done previously, but every time we do one of these, there are new people who are watching, so I think it's important for folks to know how to reach public safety and the protocols that are in place. Chief Pace?
Well, thank you, Mr. Howard. Randolph Police Department, I'm very pleased to report, is up and running as usual. We have had to adapt, but that's going well. Our lobby is closed, open only to emergencies only. So if you have a routine matter with the police, please call us at 781-963-1212. Obviously, if it's an emergency, 911. And we are able to give all our services that we normally provide, although it has been adapted. I would like to take the time to publicly thank the members of the Randolph Police Department. Policing, as you know, is difficult enough, and I appreciate the members' attention to duty and their ability to adapt and overcome during this difficult time and still be able to provide professional police services.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Donovan, how are we doing on fire services and the ambulance?
As we stated previously, both fire stations remain closed to the public. However, we continue to offer all services, inclusive of administrative inspectional services. You can reach the fire station by dialing 781-961-0992 or 781-961-0991. And obviously, if you have an emergency, you can dial 911, as the chief said previously. We can also be reached at randolphfire.com. And just to recap on what Mr. Cody said, when you do reach out for medical assistance, please give as much information as possible regarding your current medical situation to assist our first responders in protecting themselves and you from the COVID-19 virus. Just one other reminder as it relates to our responses. We've had much cooperation. As I brought this up the last time we did a live feed, if people are calling for medical assistance, if you are able to, physically, medically, if you are able to, please make your way to the front door of your house or your apartment so that we may be able to transport you more efficiently and safer. If we don't have to enter your house, it's a better situation for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Some other updates to let the folks know. The state income tax deadline was extended from April 15th to July 15th. In addition, the town, both our utility, water and sewer bills, and our motor vehicle excise tax bill, we have extended the deadline for 30 days. There were some that were due last week. There are other water and sewer bills, depending on where you live in town, that are going out this week. Again, you do have an additional 30 days where you would not have to deal with accrual of interest or a demand fee. If your circumstances is even beyond that, please reach out to us and we'll see how we can work with you in that regard. We are still waiting for the final language from the state in regards to the real estate tax. The real estate tax may also have an extension. I expect that there will be one also probably of 30 days. One thing we are definitely trying to do, since the town hall is closed, is that all business is done through our lockbox. So I want to just real quickly show residents in town where this is. Most, I think, know where it is, but just in case you do not, in front of the town hall, we do have a lockbox, which we've had for about 10 years now. Here is, you can see the Citizens Bank in the distance. Here is the front part of the location, and then here you can see where it's located. It is, you would drive into the town hall parking lot, make your way around the semicircle, and come out. We do ask residents that for the collector and treasurer's office, you can pay online with a credit card. You can pay online with a check. Doing it with a check is far less expensive. So we say to residents, if you're able to pay your bill, your water, sewer, or your motor vehicle excise online, you're much better off doing it with a check online. That said, you can put your bill and your check into the lockbox. In addition, we do request money orders only. We are trying to limit the amount of cash that is being processed. Both Shaw's and America's Food Basket are doing money orders for $1 at this point. So if you're out shopping and you want to get a money order, those are two opportunities where you can get a money order at a reasonable cost. In addition to that, I know a lot of folks are used to us being able to cash the check usually within a day or two of it being dropped off. However, there is a delay. There is less staffing. In addition to that, the checks that go to the mail-in location are being then brought back here to the town. The mail-in location that processes the checks is, in fact, not operational at this time during the COVID-19 pandemic. So there is a delay in the cashing of checks. So we want folks to understand that and work with us as much as they can. In addition, the DPW has urged us to remind folks that the only thing that should go into your toilet is toilet paper. Please do not use flushable wipes. Do not use paper towels. The flushable wipes, while people say, yes, don't worry about it, they can go in there. They cause nothing. We've had photos of them up on the Facebook page. They will, in fact, possibly clog your sewer system on your end, but it can also clog the sewer systems on the town side. And in either case, it's a mess, and you don't want anything to do with that, I assure you. At this time, Liz LaRossi, who is the director of the library, community center, and community programs, is going to update about those three areas, in particular, making sure that we keep our senior services running for those in need.
So I have a really quick update on the RACC and the TFL. Both buildings are still closed to the public. They are now closed until May 4th or until further notice. Please email or live chat or call us during our abbreviated hours, which are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. You can also visit us online on our websites or our Facebook pages for up-to-date info, as well as to access our fun and family-friendly virtual programming. Due dates on library materials checked out have been extended through May 4th, so please hold on to those at home until we reopen, and memberships at the RACC have also been extended. An update on the Randolph Resiliency Committee. Please reach out via email to the committee if you are in need of assistance or you would like to volunteer to help someone who is. We can be reached anytime via email at randolphresiliencycommittee@gmail.com or between 8:30 and 4:30 at 781-961-0930, extension 113. The committee will be holding a food drive this weekend on Saturday, April 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The donations will be brought to the Friendly Food Pantry to make sure that those in need are not going without during this difficult time. If you would like to donate, please bring your non-perishable items to Town Hall, where there will be a town vehicle parked in the parking lot. Please remember to socially distance, and if there are other people dropping off items, let them finish before approaching the vehicle. The Friendly Food Pantry has advised us that the following items are in the most demand: rice, cereal, pasta, spaghetti sauce, peanut butter, jelly, tuna fish, canned fruits, canned pastas, canned beef stew, beans, bottled juice or juice boxes, instant potatoes, and boxes of tea bags. Thank you to the entire community for your generosity.
Thank you, Liz. And I just want to reiterate that the seniors in the community, those who may have mobility issues, please reach out to Liz, please reach out to me. We have residents in the community who have also reached out to assist residents in those situations, and we've been able to match folks together. We're going to continue to do that. So if you are able to assist another resident in need, you can email Liz or myself, and when an opportunity arises, we match the two individuals up. We've had great success with that. I do want to thank the food pantry. There is no question now that we're going into a second month of this the stay-at-home advisory. People, if they're not in the essential quote-unquote category, a lot of folks are not working. They're struggling. And our food pantry is trying to meet that demand, so we're going to promote that both through emails and Facebook, that they're going to have a drive this Saturday, and I suspect it will be one of many that we do. In most, just to let folks know, that if you go to mass.gov, if you are an emergency worker and that is everything from critical service workers like grocery store employees to medical professionals. Randolph does have 2 emergency child care centers that are available for folks in those circumstances. So please go to the state website, get the information, reach out to them, and they can let you know if they're able to assist. If not, they can recommend you to some other locations close to Randolph that have that ability. Real quickly, we talk about the town's, if you've received an email by us, if you received a text from us, then you are in fact signed into the town's system. However, not everybody is, so I just want to show folks who are at home, hopefully RCTV may have to help me out here because my screen is not popping up online, but we did want to indicate to the folks at home how they could receive those email updates and the emergency notifications from the town. I will say that if you do get them, ask your friends, your neighbors, your family members that live in town if they are getting them, because it is critically important that folks in Randolph can be reached during these emergencies. The school superintendent wanted to let me know, wanted to let the folks at home know that they have changed the mail delivery service. It was being done on a daily basis to limit the amount of interaction between families and school staff. It has been a program which I think is actually really working out well, is my understanding. So you'll come on Mondays and you will get a food pickup for 3 days, and then you would come again on Friday. This information is on the town's website. So the Randolph Public Schools do deliver meals to the following locations: Liberty Place, Rosemont Square, Pachella Park, Avalon Apartments, Franklin Square Condos. That's at 10:20 in the morning. For families that receive special ed transportation, they get deliveries between 10:30 and 11:30. And for all other residents, they do have 4 locations for these mail pickups: Randolph High School at the pool side entrance, Donovan School at the front, JFK School at the front, the Lions School at the front. And you will receive a lunch and a breakfast for those in your family. So again, they are now providing 3-day supplies of meals for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The next distribution will be Friday, and that is how they're going to be proceeding going forward. So just, folks, make sure you are aware of that. I do want to, real quickly, show the residents at home on the town website. Please, I urge you to go to the website, click on this link for HyperReach, and sign up. You click on it, you answer the questions, and you'll be able to get emails and texts on our emergency system. In addition to that, if you click down here on emergency alerts, you sign up, and once you sign up, you will also get our just our general emails. Some of them are emergency in nature, but some of them are just general emails of interest for residents in the community. Very, very important. So please, I urge residents to make sure that they sign up for these programs. Finally, today is April 1st. It is the U.S. Census 2020 Day. We've been talking about how the federal government is going to be supplying funds to the local municipalities. And in doing that, they look at your census data. They look at what are the needs of the people in the community, how many residents do you have, what are the ages of those residents, and also the economics of those residents. So your census data is always critically important, but probably no more now than ever. So I am going to have our town clerk, Cheryl Sass, do a brief presentation on the U.S. Census, today being the Census Day. I'm urging anybody who is watching this video to please answer your census online or by phone today. And I am going to start up this PowerPoint. And assuming our technology works, Cheryl, you'll be in great shape. There you
Fingers
go.
crossed, fingers crossed. Thank you, Brian. Let me make sure that I can do this from here. I can. First, I want to start off by saying that there seems to be a little bit of confusion. The census that we send out every January is a town census, and that's done yearly. But the federal census is done every 10 years. That is a separate mailing, and that's going on right now. So I have received a few phone calls from people asking me if I can check to see if their census has already been checked in. Your Randolph census has been checked in. This is a federal census. It's completely different, and ultimately, it is extremely important. So if you believe that you already did your town census, you probably did. This is not the same thing. This is the federal census done every 10 years. Why do we do the census every 10 years? The Constitution mandates that it's done every 10 years. It determines the number of seats each state has in the House of Representatives, as well as defining the congressional and state legislative districts and voting precincts. It also determines the annual allocation of $675 billion in federal funding for Medicaid, SNAP, highway planning, WIC, Head Start, things like that. Is the census confidential? Of course. The Census Bureau employees are sworn to protect confidentiality for life and are subject to severe penalties and fines of up to $250,000 or jail time of up to 5 years. And personal information collected by the Census Bureau can never be used against respondents by any government agency. This includes the police, the FBI, or any court. The information you'll be asked is regarding the number of people living at your address, whether they're there permanently or temporarily. It doesn't matter. If they are there today, they are counted or should be counted. If they are there permanently, obviously you would put them there, but even if they're there temporarily, you'll also include them. You should include people who are a year old up to however old, 100 years old. Everybody counts, every single person in your household. Whether you own or rent, your phone number, your gender, your age, and your race are all questions that will be asked. Citizenship is not a question on the census. By now, you should have already received an invitation to respond to the 2020 census. I've received an invitation and 2 postcards actually at my house reminding me to do it. I've already done it. April 8th to the 16th, so hopefully within the next week, paper questionnaires will be mailed to any households that haven't responded online. So you can use your paper form. And if you don't respond with your paper form, the week of April 27th, you'll get another final reminder postcard. And if you still do not respond, an enumerator will knock on your door beginning May 7th. I believe that is the date that they've changed it to. We want to avoid enumerators visiting households altogether if possible, and they will arrive at your house and visit your house daily until you respond to the census. There are 4 ways to respond, but we only want to really have you do it 3 ways: by phone, by mail, or online. You can actually go to www.2020census.gov right now, whether you've received an invitation to respond or not, whether you still have the invitation to respond. If you lost it, it doesn't matter. You go on, and you can actually complete the questionnaire right then and there online. You can also do it by phone. The number that's listed on this slide is for English only. And when I get to the next slide, or another slide, there are some phone numbers for different languages as well. I think. Did I do it?
No, but RCTV will be putting those numbers up in a minute.
I did do it.
That said, what you're seeing on this slide here is critical. This is Randolph's current response rate. We are slightly below the rest of the state. So again, I urge anybody who is watching right now to go to my2020census.gov or to the phone numbers, which will be appearing momentarily, and make sure that you answer your census. It is critical during times like these that we have the best data available to the federal government. It is part of the political process, clearly, and how many seats we have in the House of Representatives. It affects voting districts, no question, but it really impacts money that comes back to the town. And I think that is very, very important that people understand that. A few things real quickly, and I'm going to have RCTV put up the phone numbers for folks to be able to go online and, in particular, by phone, and begin to do their census. So RCTV is going to do that. A few questions on Facebook. The mailbox, they do have a slot if you want to drop off checks of donations to the Friendly Food Pantry. So they actually have a drop box right in their front door. That said, their P.O. box is 802 Randolph, Mass. 02368. So that's the Randolph Friendly Food Pantry, and their phone number is, their P.O. box is 802. So that is one way. They also do have a slot right in the front door for folks who would like to donate in that fashion. We had a question on alerts versus hyperreach. They are separate things. The hyperreach tends to be used in emergency situations. Alerts are emergency situations sometimes, but always when we do general updates, those will go in through the email alerts. So we are asking folks to please make sure that they join both so that they have the opportunity. Those phone numbers that you see right now, this is how you can actually complete your census, by calling that number, and it'll walk you through the process. It is critically important to the town that you do so. Otherwise, please go to my 2020census.gov. Our numbers are slightly below the state average. I'm hoping everybody who is watching this video or watching it either live or later on RCTV on replay or Facebook Live, please answer the census. I know I sound like a broken drum on this one, but it is critical to this community that people answer their census. We're going to conclude now. And in concluding, I would like to thank the residents and the employees of the Randolph, of the town of Randolph. This is an extremely difficult time. We have, certainly in my 25 years of government, we've had blizzards and we've had tornadoes, and we've had, at one point, we had power out for almost 2 weeks in certain portions of the town. We've never faced anything like this. The social distancing, the physical distancing, I'm trying to use that term instead. The closing of schools, the closing of town hall, the medical necessities of our police and fire. This is unknown territory for all of us. We are waiting to hear from the state next week. They're talking about changing our funding formulas for next year. Those formulas will only go down, so it's going to put a lot more pressure on the town budget and as we continue to move forward, how we deliver services, but we're going to do everything we can to meet those challenges. So I want to thank the residents. The vast majority of residents are doing the right thing. They are physical distancing. They are only going to the store and to the pharmacy when they need to, but there are some who are not. And I urge you, please do the right thing for your family, do the right thing for yourself, and do the right thing for your community. It is critical that the next 2 to 4 weeks we buckle down. I know the term is flattening the curve. They really believe that that is starting to happen and that we can really make a difference. We are going to peak in the next week and a half in regards to the number of cases. So please continue to do the right thing. Your town council is getting ready. They will be meeting potentially on Monday. All this information will be up on the website. You'll be able to watch their meetings on Facebook Live. It will more likely than not be a remote participation meeting, but your government behind the scenes is continuing to work and to operate. So to the residents at home, thank you. We will do another update in the future, especially if there is significant information that changes. Otherwise, please join our email and phone notification system. And if you have Facebook, make sure that you like the Town of Randolph's Facebook page. Thank you. Be safe.